Rob Dawson is joining me. He was present and a happy little bunny that he could finally see football live and in the flesh. You got to witness Manchester City's absolute dismantling of Burnley just yesterday, Rob. But let's talk about the main headline that's come out of that match. Unfortunately, it doesn't really have anything to do with the football. It was that White Lives Matter banner that was flown over the Etihad. Just what was it like for you being there? And, did you hear murmurs about it happening from before?
No, I mean, we hadn't heard that there was a possibility that would happen. Apparently, there was a trial run, if you can believe that, the day before. And some of the City staff had noticed that the day before and were aware. I think the Burnley players had heard murmurings before they went out that something like that might happen. And, to be honest, being in the stadium, it was shell shock more than anything. I think we've all seen that the players taking a knee and that the Black Lives Matter on the shirt, and feel like it really is quite an important point in history where this movement is really going to affect real change. And then when you look into the sky at the stadium and see that kind of banner flying over, it is a reminder really of how tough this fight is going to be. Incredible really that this kind of thing is still happening in 2020. Obviously that was the negative aspect of it. I thought, the one really positive aspect was the post-match interview, particularly given by Burnley captain Ben Mee, because, having been around Burnley and the football club in the past, this isn't a reflection of them as a football club and the town in general. I thought Ben Mee spoke very, very well after what was a difficult game, with the scoreline and the result, but to address that situation and address it with the words and as strongly as he did, he deserves great credit for that.
Definitely, and we heard from the managers as well that had some pretty strong words speaking out about the banner. But let's talk about the game now, I suppose, because like I said, dismantling of Burnley. Yet, I suppose a lot of people would have expected that. What some people probably didn't expect is to see Phil Foden score not once, but twice. Just last week, we were speaking to our colleague, Mark Ogden, and we were almost wondering if we should start thinking of Phil Foden's life away from Manchester City to get more playing time. Has that changed now?
Well, I mean, this stretch of Premier League games feels like a very important time for Phil Foden. Everyone will know that he has struggled to get starts for Manchester City. He plays minutes, but he often comes on at the end of games when games are won. But he hasn't started that many games. City haven't got that much to play for in the Premier League this season now. Obviously, the title's gone. They're almost assured of Champions League football. There is a chance for Pep Guardiola to throw Phil Foden in more than perhaps he would have done in a normal season. We saw him start last night. He played very, very well. He was the best player on the pitch by a distance, really. 2 very good goals and a great pass for David Silva's goal as well. So, there will be lots to talk about Phil Foden. He's approaching a pivotal point of his City career. David Silva, as we know, will leave the Etihad after 10 years at the end of this season. There is a real chance for Phil Foden to use his remaining Premier League games to make a real case to Pep Guardiola that he should be the one to replace David Silva, that City don't need to go into the transfer market to replace Silva. They've got the ready-made replacement right there at the Etihad already.
Well, it's going to be hard to replace someone like Sergio Aguero. We know exactly how lethal he can be on the ball. However, bad news is that he looked like he picked up that knee injury. Pep, I think, after said, plain and simple, it doesn't look good. So what does this mean for City going forward, especially given the fact that they'll probably need all hands on deck to get that Champions League title that they really, really want?
Yeah, it's obviously a blow. It looked fairly innocuous at the time, and Sergio Aguero wasn't stretchered off. He was allowed to walk off on his own. But judging by Pep Guardiola's comments after the game, obviously said it doesn't look good, and Pep doesn't mince his words with stuff like that. If he said it doesn't look good, it really doesn't look good. I think the only positive we can take from this really is that the way the season is structured now. I've just mentioned there that they don't have much to play for in the Premier League anymore. It won't really matter to City if Sergio Aguero doesn't play another Premier League game this season. They've got enough players to cope with that. What Pep Guardiola will really need is to get him back for that Champions League run in August. It's not ideal the way the competition is going to be staged now. Obviously, we know that there's going to have to be changes had to be made because of the coronavirus pandemic. But actually, it may work out in City's favour with this injury. They can give Sergio Aguero a lot of time to recover, do the scans, give him the treatment, and hopefully, fingers crossed, get him back for those Champions League games in August.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.